Now, what I've done throughout this campaign is to propose a net spending cut. Every dollar that I've proposed an additional cut so that it matches. And I want to go through the federal budget line by line, page by page. Programs that don't work, we should cut.
Today, I'm pledging to cut the deficit we inherited by half by the end of my first term in office. I will use the money we're no longer spending on war to pay down our debt. My plan would cut our deficit by $4 trillion.
Well, there's no doubt that our first order of business is going to be to get our deficits and debt under control. I truly believe that if we can get the deficit and debt issue solved, which I believe we can get done, you know, in the lame duck or in the immediate aftermath of the lame duck.
But what my opponent didn't tell you was that federal spending, since I took office, has risen at the slowest pace of any president in almost 60 years. The state of our economy calls for action, bold and swift, and we will act, not only to create new jobs, but to lay a new foundation for growth. And I'm not going to rest until every American who's looking for work can find a job, until we put America back to work. Jobs must be our #1 focus in 2010, and that's why I'm calling for a new jobs bill tonight. In the last 22 months, businesses have created more than 3 million jobs. Last year, they created the most jobs since 2005. American manufacturers are hiring again, creating jobs for the first time since the late 1990s.
What do you think about all these things that he gets away with? You can add Benghazi to the list. How does he get away with it? Is it just the media? People are interested in, I don't know, other things? Why?
Well, first of all, if everything's so swimmingly going along here, why do we need all these programs? He should have just said, America's in great shape, good night. And he didn't do that because it's a joke. How does he get away with it? Well, you know how he gets away with it. The media in this country are sycophants. They root for big government. Academia in this country, they live off of big government. And of course, the Democrat Party has been hijacked by the radical left. There are no more moderate conservative Democrat politicians. They're a bunch of 1960s retreads, or worse. That's how he gets away with it. So the problem for me, though, is when you listen to him, I'm focusing on jobs, he's destroying jobs. I'm focusing on the debt, he's ballooning the debt. Everything he focuses on, he destroys. So you got to hope he's not going to focus on you.
I hope so. All right, let me ask you this. I thought the big story of the night was the Republican response, Marco Rubio. And we'll get into this later as the program unfolds, Mark, but they're making a big deal. The Drudge Report has a headline, Watergate 2013. And it's interesting, you know, I've given speeches, you've given speeches. I take a sip of water when I'm giving a speech. I have my water right here, my Poland Springs right there. I take drinks while I'm on the air. But that's their focus because I think the substance was so good. Now let's look at Barack Obama. This was put out by the AP. It's also on the Drudge Report. Let's see, Obama taking a sip during the speech, Hillary taking a sip during the speech, Marco Rubio taking a sip during the speech, and you got 4,000 Google alert articles about Marco Rubio. What do you make of that?
Well, Obama takes a cigarette drag when nobody's looking, and, you know, Clinton's hanging out when the interns when nobody's looking. I think this is stupid. I watched the Rubio speech, and I thought it was the greatest reply to a State of the Union speech I ever saw, and the substance was unbelievable. He laid out the conservative principled case and applied it to what's going on today in our society, but he also laid out what Obama was doing in no uncertain terms and what the future looks like with either path. This Rubio is a superstar. He was excellent. Look, I know he didn't have the clapping seals jumping up and down every time and 20 minutes of a pre-show, pre-State of the Union discussion, hype from the media and all the presidential trappings and all, which makes it more remarkable what Rubio did. Rubio gave a tremendous speech, and frankly, so did Rand Paul.
Yeah. I agree with both of those things. I thought it was the best speech response to a State of the Union that I had seen. I agree with you on that point, and I agree about Rand Paul also. You said, and it caused a little bit of a controversy, about the Muslim Brotherhood having infiltrated our government. And I believe it was in reference to the F-16s and the tanks that were given to Morsi, the 9/11 truther that thinks the Israelis are descendants of apes and pigs, which is the dumbest policy I think I've seen. Explain.
Well, they might as well have infiltrated our government. They have a friend in the Oval Office. They've had visitors in the Oval Office. I don't know why we can't be truthful about this, why we have to censor the facts. The fact is that Obama is insisting on arming a terrorist regime, the Muslim Brotherhood regime in Egypt, that is now coordinating with or attempting to align itself with the regime that's in Tehran. And why the hell would we be sending them 16 F-16s and Abrams tanks and everything else when that government, in fact, may fall? Why do we reward that? I mean, we're hollowing out our own military. We can't even have 2 aircraft carriers in the region at the same time. An aircraft carrier, Lincoln, hasn't moved because we can't fuel it. We're giving 16 F-16s to the Muslim Brotherhood president of Egypt. That's exactly what I mean. This president has his priorities all screwed up.
All right, great one. Good to see us. Come out of the bunker once in a while and join us. We love having you. Thank you.
God bless you. Take care.